Welcome to the Lakeshore Christian Church Midweek podcast. I'm Pastor Randy Cordell. We're coming to you live from our studio in our Antioch campus here in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. We're happy to have you joining us today. If you haven't already done so, we would love for you to hit that subscribe button. Tell others about the podcast if you want to invite them to listen to it as well. We come to you live at noon on Wednesdays, and then once it's posted, you can listen to it anytime after that on most popular podcast platforms. Each week on the podcast, we talk a little bit about the series that we're in here at Lakeshore Christian Church. And right now we're in a series from the book of Exodus. We're just going straight through the book of Exodus. And last Sunday, we were talking about how God was responding to Moses and Aaron and the Israelites and the broken spirit that they were feeling as a result of things not going the way that they thought they should go. They didn't get the results they thought God was going to give them right away. And we found out, of course, that's what life is like a lot of times for all of us, even as Christ followers today. So if you missed it, it is on our website at lakeshorechristian.com. You can go to our YouTube channel and catch it there. I'd love for you to go back and listen to that, especially if you're dealing with a broken spirit right now or somebody you know or care about is going through something like that. This was God's answer to them. And the main thing he was emphasizing in his answer is, I am the Lord. You need to let me be the one in charge of how things go, the way things work, and trust me for the results. So it's a great reminder to all of us. This next week, we're going to be looking at, for some people, this is a fun part. For some people, they don't understand it. The second part of Exodus chapter 6 is the genealogy for Moses and Aaron. And a lot of people, we kind of just go right over that. We don't spend any time with it. It's not devotional reading, that's for sure. But the genealogy is there for a reason. It's going to be Father's Day, and we're going to be talking about our family tree and our genealogy and how we can break cycles and start new cycles for our families as dads. So I hope you'll join us this coming Sunday. Today we're going to do something a little different. It's been a while since I had a guest on the podcast, but I was really happy we were able to work it out to have our guest here with us today. Jesse Wayne Taylor is here, and he's going to tell us a little bit about himself and an organization that he works with called Creative Vets. Welcome, Jesse. It's good to have you, man.
What's up, brother?
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
Man, you're a joy to have around. And I wanted you to tell everybody a little bit about yourself first, where you're from, and tell about your family and that kind of thing.
I was actually born in Nashville, and I was raised in Fairview, Tennessee, and went to school all the way through 8th grade there, and then my parents put me in David Lipscomb Campus School, and I was in high school, and then after I graduated there, I didn't necessarily want to go to college,
right? But
my mother worked at the university, and we had a really awesome discount, and they pretty much gave me no other option besides that, and so I went to school at Lipscomb and ended up getting a PR degree, and for the last few years, let's see here, since 2021. Prior to 2021, I was just playing music for a living. I did work at a gun store called Nashville Armory for a little while as well.
Okay.
But outside of that, I was just playing music, and then in 2021, I started part-time on the team at Creative Vets and have been with them ever since. Yeah. And now I started out part-time, and now I'm full-time.
Oh, that's cool. I love the way that
transition
worked out for you there. Well, tell us, I know you're a married man, but it's fairly recent, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
September of last year was when we tied the knot.
Newlyweds.
That's right.
Yeah.
And now we got a baby coming in August.
Listen to you.
When she told me on Christmas, like not Christmas Day, but when it was like near Christmas, when she told me that she was pregnant, I literally thought she was joking. I was like, you're kidding. We didn't even go on one vacation without a kid. Not one vacation without a kid.
I love it.
I said, it's going to be 18 years before we get one of those.
Yeah. My wife and I were kind of like that too. It happened fast for us, and man, we've been married 48 years, so anything less than that is newlyweds to us. Well, I love it. I love it. I've got to meet your wife, of course, here at Lakeshore, and seems like a wonderful girl.
Man, she's my best friend, and I've had a hard few years, and she's just been by my side relentlessly, and I love her so much. There's no doubt.
Makes a difference on getting through stuff, right? When you got a partner going through it with you.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Yeah. No doubt.
Well, I want to especially give you some time to talk about your work with Creative Vets. I got a chance to check it out a little bit online, and we'll post a link on our show notes and stuff like that so people can find it. But tell us a little bit about just generally what Creative Vets is, what they do, and then your role there at Creative Vets.
So the most basic way of saying it is that we are here to help veterans heal through art and music. There are tons of different programs that we run. The easiest way to get involved is by going straight to creativevets.org and filling out the application. And once you have that done, then you will be able to get into whatever programs you are best fitted for. The things that I do the most are my primary job is the one-on-one writing sessions with males and guitar lessons and or piano lessons. And if for some reason I'm working with someone who has some sort of disability to where they can't play either of those instruments, sometimes we'll throw something else in the mix to just try to give somebody something to play along with their song. We have a main program for the songwriting program, and for that one, we bring veterans to Nashville free of charge, and these are all ex-combat veterans, and we bring them to Nashville free of charge. We take them typically, unless there's something going on to where we can't make it happen, we will take them backstage to the Grand Ole Opry with each veteran is paired with a mentor veteran who's already gone through the program, has already written their song, and understand how it works. That person also spends time with them the night before they go into the writing session that next day, so they can take turns sharing each other's stories and get an opportunity to warm up. Then when they jump in that room with the hit writers, they have had a chance to kind of talk a little bit about, even with whatever they're talking about, it's hard to talk about, they've at least gotten to kind of buffer it out, right? They share their story, the songwriters do their work, they leave that session, and, depending on how quick the song happens, it could be 2 hours, it could be 4 hours, could be a little bit more. But they leave that session, and then the following day they go into a studio here in town. We most of the time work at the Ruckus Room. And we have a group of professional musicians who have worked with tons and tons of different artists. They will meet us there at the studio, and we will take, typically there's somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 to 6 veterans going through one program like that. And we'll have all of those veterans sitting in the studio and most of the time whoever writes the song in the room, if it's a songwriter that can sing well too, they'll come do the demo. If not, they call me the morning of and send me the songs, and I learn them and go sing them 3 hours later.
Pretty quick turnaround.
It is a real quick turnaround. So sometimes that's a tragedy. But I do my best to try to give, the veterans that are there the best performance I can give them. But we get to watch their songs come from absolutely nothing, and a lot of times something they couldn't talk about 2 days before, into an absolute masterpiece that they genuinely cannot believe, that they're super excited to share with their friends and their family. And it's a really awesome program that I'm lucky to get to be a part of. The online writing sessions that I do, you don't have to be a combat veteran to get in on that. You can just be a vet, because I want everybody that I work with to feel confident in trying this on their own afterwards. If I can figure it out, anybody can. Okay? And so that's at least my mentality when I go behind it. So they've got us running all over the place, especially during the summer. We just got back from a music festival called Tailgates and Tallboys we were in Clinton, Iowa, and we wrote with 5 different veterans that we just found there at the festival. Wow. It was really cool. Last year we wrote with a guy, and this is real cool. All right, last year we wrote with a guy. The next day he comes back out, and the following week we run another festival, same festival, different town in Bloomington, Illinois. He shows up with his wife, has all the lyrics to his song printed on the back of his shirt, right? I quit drinking in 2017. I used to drink a lot, right? But that gentleman asked me, he said, "Hey, man, can I get you a drink? Thank you for writing that song, man." I said, "No, man, I appreciate it. I just, honestly, when I look back at all the worst decisions I've made in my life, most of them came directly from that. So I just decided to get it out. There were other things that were more important to me." And a few months later, he called me and told me he had quit drinking.
Oh, wow.
And this year, we sat on the same dirt that we wrote his song on last year. And as 235-something days sober, he sat there and learned how to play and sing his song on that same dirt, man. It was really cool. And I'm telling you, I'm getting chills now thinking about it.
Love to hear the story. Yeah, man. That's great. Well, I know that what a cool experience for these veterans, that opportunity to go backstage at the Grand Ole Opry and work with those talented people, and then have a professional band record that. that's something not everybody gets a chance to do.
No, it's something that pretty much no one gets a chance. There's actually no other program at the Grand Ole Opry where they'll let people backstage in those rooms like that I know of.
Yeah.
Certainly nothing like what we do either. So yeah, it's a privilege that we have, and hopefully it's something in a partnership we're going to be able to keep for a really, really long time, because it does make a massive difference. And it is it's pretty cool to see grown men go in there and feel like a kid again.
Yeah, I can imagine how excited they get about doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell me a little bit about, I know there's a purpose behind it, like you've already said. It's not just to write a good song. That's a great thing. It's a good result that you get from it.
Right.
But tell me about how you've seen, you talked about the one person, but I'm sure you've witnessed many times over how that therapy has changed and helped to get someone through some of the hardest, toughest stuff that they have to deal with in their lives.
So last year we went to MCON, military convention. Did the same thing we were doing at this festival. We're literally just walking around, talking to people, saying, "Are you a veteran? Would you like to write a song with us?"
Yeah.
And then taking them in the back. I worked with two gentlemen that weekend, and both of them, we both broke down. They cried throughout the whole thing, not the whole thing, but both of them had very emotional experiences in our songwriting sessions. Both of them also looked at me and said, "Man, I've gone to therapy over this. And what just happened in the last 4 hours did more for me than any of those trips to therapy did." Yeah. The same thing was told to me by my buddy Dan A. Bear. And you were asking about the song Unbroken earlier.
Yeah.
We wrote that song together backstage at the Grand Ole Opry in 2019, something like that.
Wow.
And that Dan told us when we went to do the Kelly Clarkson show, like that was the first time I'd really gotten to spend time with him since then. Like we kept in touch, sent text messages or whatever, but he looked at me that evening and told me that song bridged a gap for him to his kids that nothing else, no other therapy that he had tried was able to even get close to. And it's still something that's very special to them. And truthfully, I was kind of telling you a little bit, I've had a hard few years too, and I felt broken big time. And that song was one that I leaned on. Yeah. I'd be having a real bad day, and I'd just go sit in and play that thing and cry. Yeah. And so the cool thing is when it happens for the veteran, it gets to be that for the veteran, but then it turns around and gets to be that for me too, man. It don't get much better than that.
You can't help but be moved by it when you see them being moved by it like it is. Yeah. There is a powerful element of healing and therapy through music. There really is. I know all the arts have an element of that, but I think music just connects so well with the heart and the soul of the individual. And not just the one doing it, but the people hearing it. I mean, it moves them too. You never know which song, that one connected well with you, how many other people it connects with along the way.
100%.
Just hearing the story, and they're not alone in it, and they hear other people dealing with the same junk they're dealing with. And there's a camaraderie that's developed there that helps with the healing process. It really
100%.
Yeah. Man, I love what you're doing there. I know your focus is mostly the music side and the writing and all of that. But there's other aspects of art and creativity that they're doing there as well, right?
100%, absolutely. Yeah. There are art programs, there's photography programs. We have a partnership with Belmont where we have, I think that only happens like once, maybe twice a year, but we'll have a group of veterans come through where they do an art program through Belmont. We also send them up to Chicago. Sometimes there's an art institute up there, and we used to have a big office in there, but again, I haven't been up to Chicago in a while. They keep me busy doing all the other stuff, but my buddy Kyle, who is actually our deputy director, he does a lot of the photography stuff. He's big into photography. Kyle actually, our co-founder, Richard Casper, served with Kyle's brother overseas, and Kyle's brother got shot right beside him and didn't make it home. And Richard became really close with their family in the coming years after that. And when he started Creative Vets, which a big reason why he started with Creative Vets was because he was having such a hard time dealing with the loss of his best friend, he invited Kyle to come work as deputy director there, and he's been there ever since, and honestly has become one of my closest friends. And I really love and respect him for stepping into that situation to help people, even when it probably is even still hard today sometimes.
Yeah. I'm sure it's hard for him, but it's still, an ongoing therapy for him to be a part of it. 100%,
100%. And so he does a lot of the photography stuff because he's into that. And we've even got some like acting classes going on at the building, like where if you're a local veteran, get on our Instagram, Facebook. If you are able to get onto our email list too, they keep all of that information flowing through those channels. Okay. So if you are local and you want to get involved in that way, we do have those things. And then, man, the easiest way to get involved with all of that is, like I said, get on the website and go to the application and fill it out, and we can get you rocking and rolling or painting in no time.
There you go. creativevets.org. So
yes, sir.
Make sure you can log in there and connect. We'll put that in the show notes as well. Put that link in there for you. And I know that the Nashville, is it like chapters around the country? Is that what it's called, or was it?
Great question. We're getting chapters.
Okay.
We're just now in that stage.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess you could say the Nashville chapter, but pretty much everything, the majority of everything is run out of Nashville.
Okay. All right. Yeah. That's the central headquarters.
Yes,
Nashville.
sir.
Well, cool. So how did you first find out about Creative Vets?
Great question. I met, these were back in my drinking days. I was running around the bars downtown trying to network with other songwriters and musicians, and Richard was actually doing the exact same thing. He was trying to find hit songwriters that would be willing to write with the program.
Right.
And so we had run into each other a few times and had talked, and I knew who he was, that big tall Marine guy, but I didn't know much else about him. And so one night I asked, and he let me know what he was doing and what he wanted to do with Creative Vets. And I told him, I said, man, that's pretty amazing. I said, I've always wanted to be able to help people with what I did, but trying to make it in Nashville and just even get a successful song, you can really get stuck in a hole of not doing that. Yeah. And I was like, so, here's my phone number. I said, I know you're looking for hit songwriters, and I'm no hit songwriter. I said, but I did get second place at a songwriting contest at the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Well, that's pretty good.
And I got first place in a singing contest at Rooster's Texas Barbecue right down the street.
Man, don't get no bigger than that. Boy.
And I told him, I said, hey, if you can't find a hit songwriter, I might make a halfway decent backup for you. And so he got my phone number, and next day he called me. And Richard has never had a drink in his life, which honestly, it was really inspiring for me to get to know him and to see him do all of that work in that environment and never even touch it.
Yeah.
That was really impressive to me, and honestly probably one of the big reasons why I decided to start making that decision for myself. But regardless, I showed up that next day about as hungover as you could possibly be.
Yeah.
But the good Lord blessed me with enough mental capacity to roll up in there and get a song done. And we wrote a song with a guy named Zach Heath. And Richard, the company or nonprofit was so small at the time, Richard was the mentor to every veteran that came to town.
All right.
So he had already had his moment with Zach and had gotten to share his story and let Zach open up to him. And so when we rolled into the room, Zach let us know that it's probably going to be hard. And, I mean, as soon as those words came out of his mouth, it started being hard for him and for us for the next few hours. But at the end of it, we had this really amazing song that told this story of his friend that he lost while he was serving. And Richard asked me, he said, hey, man, can you play that in a writer's round later this evening? I played it in the writer's round, and that gentleman sat there and sang and smiled and cried all the way through that song while I sang it to probably 30 people. And earlier in that day, he couldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
It really hit me, and I kind of felt like the good Lord was telling me, that didn't take much for you to do, and it sure meant the world to that guy. And so I told Richard if he ever needed any help or needed another songwriting volunteer to let me know. And like I said, he had me to volunteer many, many times over the years. And then in 2021, kind of coming out of that COVID thing, they were needing to do some different things because of COVID and how they had been having to run. And so, yeah, they had me on the team, and they hadn't been able to get rid of me since.
Well, I'm sure you're a great addition to the team. I could just tell from talking with you and the passion you have for it. If someone, I know you have sponsors, like some corporate sponsors and things like that. Do individuals donate as well, that kind of thing?
Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Right next to the application button on our website is a donate button.
I thought I saw that button.
Yes, sir. Okay. It's right up there at the top. It's easy to get to, creativevets.org, and hit it. And like I said, all of those main programs, all the veterans come to town free of charge. The programs that we're running right now, the ones where we're going and meeting veterans at music festivals and trying to meet them where they're at.
Yeah.
Those cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
And we're making it work, but ultimately any donations would absolutely help us be able to do even more than what we're already doing right now.
Yeah. I feel like there are a lot of people out there that have a heart for veterans, either had veterans in their family or have connections with veterans and have some personal encounters with the struggle that's going on there that could contribute, that might want to help out with that. So if you're listening and you want to help out, go to the website, hit that donate button and see how you can make a donation there. That would be great. Well, I know you came ready, and we want you to do this. You've got a song you want to share.
I didn't know if you were even going to let me play anything today, but I thought I'd bring it just in case, because there's a lot of songs I'd love for you to hear, but I really want you to hear this.
Well, man, I'm excited about it. Let's have it. Let's listen to it.
So I'll tell you a little bit of a story real quick before we get started on it. And this veteran that I wrote with, this was one of the virtual writing sessions. His name was is Gary Darling. And I always try to share part of my story and like at least some about me so that they can kind of get to know me before I start asking them to, open up to me, right? Yeah. So I told this guy my story, and he was just like, wow, man, I feel like we got a lot in common. And I was like, cool. And he goes, and he just rocked straight into it. Okay. Sometimes people have some really hard stuff that they need to write about to get over or get through. That was not his situation. This man was fired up. He was excited. Yeah. And he was like, I just found Jesus for the first time.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
I'm probably here I go crying already, but man, he kept telling me, he was like, dude, I'm brand new. I feel like I'm brand new.
Yeah.
And truthfully, at the time I didn't feel that way. I've been a Christian since I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel that way. And we talked about that. Yeah. And we ultimately ended up coming up with this song together that has truly been a blessing to me. It's been a reminder to me every day that even if I don't feel that way, that's how he makes me every day.
That's right. It doesn't change the reality that that's what he's done and keeps doing. Yeah.
So let's see if I can get through this one now. Right. I typically started off by crying anyways.
Okay.
So it feels right.
We're off to a good start. There you go.
It feels right. Get her turned down here. Thought I was alive, but that was just a lie. I had never felt so far gone. Couldn't help but stay in trouble, always shooting double. I never could find my way back home until Jesus came into my life. No, nothing's been the same ever since that night. I'm brand new, I got a clean slate, took all my burdens and I gave them away. I'm brand new and I'm gonna shout it, doing kingdom work and I'm all about it. I'm dead to my old self, you know it's true. Lord, I'm talking brand new, brand new, brand new, brand new. He's working on my heart. Every day I get a fresh start. It feels so good now to see it show. But the devil don't go away, so I turn to God to pray. Down on my knees is where I go. I'm talking brand new, I got a clean slate, took all my burdens and I gave them away. I'm brand new and I'm gonna shout it, doing kingdom work and I'm all about it. I'm dead to my old self, you know it's true. Lord, I'm talking brand new, brand new, brand new. Don't let the world keep it from you. If you open up your heart, you can have it too. Lord, I'm talking brand new. I got a clean slate, took all my burdens and I gave them away. I'm brand new and I'm gonna shout it, doing kingdom work and I'm all about it. I'm dead to my old self, you know it's true. I said I'm dead to my old self, you know it's true. Lord, I'm talking brand new, brand new, brand new, brand new.
Oh yeah, there you go. Woo! Yeah. Got the room clapping, man. That's good. Yeah. Boy, I love that. I'm glad you picked that one to share with me. That's
I
terrific.
had a feeling you might get a kick out
I
of it.
love it. I love it. Yeah. Pull that mic up back a little closer to you again. That's all right. You're good.
My bad.
No, you're good. I'm so glad you shared it, man. That sounds like a hit song to me.
I don't know about that, but
Yeah.
it definitely hit me right in the forehead.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think it hits a lot of us, and we need to be reminded of that constantly. We really do, all of us. No matter how long we might have followed the Lord or thinking about following the Lord, that speaks to all of us for sure. So, man, I'm glad you wrote that one with him, and we're able to share that with us.
Amen, brother.
Well, I know you still do some of your own stuff with music, so how will people be able to check you out? So,
You know, I do have some music out. I haven't been able to really release anything new in quite some time, but you can still check out that old stuff.
There you go.
Anywhere you listen to music, just look up my name, Jesse Wayne Taylor. And then I do a podcast with my dad about once a month. We get together.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite storytellers, and we get together and cut up and tell some stories and catch up. And so if you're into that kind of thing too, if you're listening to this, you're obviously into podcasts. So check that one out too.
Yeah, tell them the name of that podcast.
Oh, thank you. The Bald Headed Country Boy Podcast.
There you go, Bald Headed Country Boy Podcast. I love the name. I got to get a better name for mine, I think. I don't think I could do that one, but I'll come with something. Right?
You had to get a haircut first.
Yeah, okay, all right. Well, man, I'm so glad you came to be my guest today, and I hope to have you come back again sometime.
Absolutely.
And share a little bit more, update us on how things are going with that.
Would love to.
Glad you're full-time with Creative Vets now. I got a little gift for you just to thank you for being my
saw
guest
that.
today,
That's
man.
awesome. Are you
got
kidding
you
me?
a T-shirt we're celebrating our 50th anniversary as a church, so I got
Amen.
that for you. I wanted to present that
Love
to you,
it.
man.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had to guess at the size. If that doesn't work, we'll get
That's
you another one.
perfect.
There
Are
you
you
go.
kidding me? Heck,
Yeah.
I've even been losing a little weight, so
Hey.
it might fit better than you thought.
There you go. All right. Well, man, thank you again for joining us today,
Absolutely.
man. I want to thank everybody for tuning in to the podcast today. We'd love for you to come and see us at Lakeshore Christian Church. We have services on Sunday at Antioch campus at 9 a.m. and 11 a.m. We do a service at our Smyrna campus at 10 a.m., and we live stream our services every Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Then once that's posted, you can listen to it or watch it anytime after that. Thank you for joining us today. We love to see you in person here as we continue to connect, grow, and serve at Lakeshore Christian Church.